Scum, you won your first game of the day. Was it straightforward?
Yeah, we almost threw the search and destroy away, which if we did that, it would have been a lot different of a series, I think, because then they went on to win third map. We got clutched on 1v3, 5-4, which just can't happen. You got to close it out. If you have a 1v3, 5-4, you have to close it. So thankfully we won that. We looked very good on both the hard points, which is good to see, but United's been lacking in that, so it's hard to really judge what we are at in that game mode. But yeah, it was a pretty clean win, a couple mistakes, but it was our first game of the tournament, which usually happens for us, so I'm glad that we won.
Well, that leads perfectly actually into my second question. Once upon a time, you guys were very slow out of the blocks, you know, some poor performances in group stage, and you normally pick it up on days 2 and 3. What has changed recently for you guys to, I mean, obviously you didn't start as well as you wanted to, but start much better than what you would have historically?
It's really just, when we get easy pools, we get lazy. That's it. That's point blank period. For instance, our season 1 second week we went, we got reverse swept by Era, which shouldn't be happening, and it's like we went up 2-0, we just get lazy. We were getting 100-point club by Mindfreak. We just got lazy in the series. It was like, oh, we're gonna beat them. We don't really have to go hard. But when we get a hard pool in a tournament, you have to come in right off the start firing, or you're gonna go into loser's bracket off the start, just off pool play. So it helps us to have a harder pool because it gets us in the swing of things, and then that makes it easier if we do make it out of pool for our first match where we're playing another top caliber team instead of going from like a top 12 to 16 team or 2 of them. You know, it's good to play like a top 6 at United to get in.
Some of your rivals, Team Caliber and Rise, are you impressed with how Rise have improved, and can you see Team Caliber almost on a bit of a decline at the moment?
I wouldn't say a decline. I think they're just plateaued. Rise is a team with a high ceiling. They have 4 very, very skilled players. Looney's a veteran. The other 3 have been around for a while, but not as long as Looney. So he's like their leader, and he keeps their heads on straight. They're a young team as well. I just think they have such a high ceiling, and TK is like, their ceiling is high, but they hit their ceiling very, very fast. And now that teams are like watching their film, seeing how they're playing, teams are just knowing how they play the game, and if they're not out shooting you now, they're gonna lose. So that was the difference. At the start of the year, even if you were out shooting them, they would just play more correct than you and beat you because they were pushing the right lanes, small talking, teamwork more. But now it's, if you're out shooting them, you will beat them.
Going back to your comments about Era before, you get to replay them in the groups, obviously. What are your expectations ahead of that series?
I'm not sure. Apparently they won both hard points against FaZe, so they're looking good in that. I'm actually surprised that FaZe beat them in 2 searches because they're a very heavy search team. If you look at their players, Pharaoh, Blastful, you know, they've been playing search, just Decimate. They've all been playing search since COD 4, and that was their main game mode. So surprising. I think we're going to beat them in hard points though, so I think we're going to win. I think we're going to come out hot. I think we're going to come out with some fire. Like, these guys reverse sweeped us, but it shouldn't have happened, and we're going to beat them. So.
You know, what was team morale like? Because obviously we saw Teep on Twitter talking about it. You know, what did you guys take away from that game coming into the FaZe match?
Just the fact that they're just complete morons and they don't know what they're doing, and pretty much most people, like when you get weak, you sit in a corner, you hide, you get your health back, right? Era, they just run. They just love to just run, and they're all 18-year-old crackheads, and they just so they just don't stop moving, and I honestly hate playing them. And it's like those 3 are fine, right? You know, their 3 sub players play like stupid aggressive, but then you have Ricky, who's just the slowest player of all time. So, and it just throws off the entire pace. They're really like weird pacing team, and I think that's what throws us off.
Slower than Stainville? Because Tosh is pretty slow.
I think Stainville might be the only pro player who I have a losing record against.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Crim, you're
actually, wait, no, Doug Sensor Martin too. I'll beat him in finals. He says he hasn't lost finals, but I beat him 1 time in finals. He's beat me twice. But yeah, Doug and Stainville.